Hi everyone, Stepan here. I'm gonna continue the Road to GM series after a long time. So first of all, this is the first game I played in 2026. I had a break because of work and personal issues since September last year, or actually October. The last game I played in 2025 was a league game in the Benoni where I had the white pieces, which I had won. And before that, I played two tournaments which I haven't covered in the playlist. The first one was the Adolf Andersen Memorial in Wrocław in Poland. And the second one was the Trieste Open. Now, I have not covered those tournaments in the playlist. So I am missing 8 games from Wrocław, 9 from Trieste, and 1 league game, the one Benoni game. So that's, 18 games total. And I've moved about 5 times since last September, and I don't have those score sheets. So I will not be covering those games. I will say that Wrocław and Trieste were not good tournaments, even though I won my last game in Trieste. So technically I won my last 2 games in 2025, but I will be continuing the series now, and I will be covering all the games I play in the future. What else did I want to say? Yeah, I'm going to be covering the Road to GM, the Road to GM playlist, but I will not be stopping the Sicilian playlist that I'm covering now. And I will throw in the games as I played them. So the first game I played was in the middle of the most turbulent period of my life, probably ever. I had 3 things that had completely prevented me from focusing on chess. One of them was work-related, the other 2 were health issues in my family. And when this game was played, this was played about 3 weeks ago. This was round 3 of the Croatian League, and I couldn't play the first 2 rounds for my team, unfortunately, but I could play round 3. And at the point when this game was played, 2 of the 3 issues have been resolved. So I went into the game without any prep. I had no idea who I was playing. I didn't even know which color I was going to play. So you probably know me, so you will know that that's not usual for me. I usually prepare in great detail, but I just didn't have the time, and I still wanted to support my team. So it turned out we were playing a lower-rated team. By the way, my teammates drew the first 2 rounds of the Croatian League, which wasn't a good result, but still. And I'm playing an 1800 rated opponent, an older gentleman, maybe 60 or 70. And usually those guys just play, they don't prepare. So I played d4 and he played d5, I played c4, he played c6, the Slav, and then I played e3. And the reason I played e3 is because I have started developing a system about 2 years ago, which allows me to avoid many unpleasant sidelines in the Slav, which I think are fine for black. You will probably know that I played d5, c6 with black as well. So playing this move order is actually a new thing for me. And before I show you this game, which went knight f6, knight c3, and bishop g4, I have to remind you of a game I played in 2024, which had the same first moves. I played f3, and in that game, my opponent deviated or played something different to this game. I should say that the best move in this position for black is bishop c8. And it's a very hard move to make, but if you don't play bishop c8, I will eventually have queen b3, putting pressure on d5 and b7. So it's a very tricky position where you have to play carefully as black. The upside of this move order is that you've prevented all DC lines because the bishop can move in one tempo. And if bishop f5, you have queen b3, and if bishop g4, you have f3, gaining another tempo. So in this game, after f3, my opponent played bishop d7, which is a bad move. Now, the game I played in Villard-de-Lans in 2024, it was a first round game. So once again, d4, d5, c4, c6. In this game, I started with knight c3. And about a year later, I actually switched to 3e3 but we got the same position, knight f6, e3, it's the same position. My opponent played bishop g4, I played f3, and he played bishop f5, which is actually the most common move, but it's a huge advantage to white. It's about plus 0.7. So I continued, of course, with g4, and now the bishop needs to go to c8. Okay, it needs to go to c8, otherwise you're in trouble on the queen side. My opponent played bishop g6. White now has an almost insurmountable advantage. The engine says more than +1, so you should play h6, but my opponent played h5, and now it's just over, it's +2. g5, the knight must move, and queen b3, and you cannot defend everything. It's impossible to defend everything. d5 is hanging, and b7 is hanging. So the game went e6, takes, knight d7 takes, and +2, I won the game. Very, very easy. Now in this game, of course, you know, I was expecting the best move, bishop c8 always, and then if my opponent goes bishop f5 or bishop h5, we get the position we've just seen, which is awful for black, but my opponent played bishop d7. And now there's a problem with this move. The problem is, it's very difficult to develop your knight, and when I play queen b3, you really should go queen c7. Okay, if you go queen b6, I'm going to gain another tempo with c5. My opponent did play queen b6, and at this point, I'd assumed that I was going to win the game because this was still my prep from 2024. I'd prepared all the moves after bishop g4, f3, and even though I didn't prep specifically for this game, I knew this position well. Now, the best move after c5, excuse me, is once again queen c7. You have to play queen c7, you cannot trade. Now, my opponent traded on b3, and now if you turn on the engine, it's going to say more than +1. It's basically game over because of a very, very specific plan that occurs in many openings, especially in the London system. White's going to go b4 and b5. Whoa. Whoa. Queen takes b3, ab3. White's going to go b4 and b5 and just undermine the structure completely. And then white's going to go b4, b5 once again. Okay, so in this position, my opponent has a problem. If knight a6, I take twice. Okay, so knight a6 impossible, knight d7 impossible because the bishop is on d7. So he played bishop f5, and I played g4, gaining a tempo, bishop g6, h4 gaining a tempo, and h6. Okay, so now that I have all of this space on the queen side, the reason I wanted to do this is if my opponent ever castles kingside, I'll have g5, targeting something on d7 because I'm going to misplace this knight. And since I'm playing b4, b5, it's likely that I will be able to get a bishop to b5. Okay, so now I need to continue marching on the queen side. So b4, a6 does not work, of course. I can just go b5 anyway because the rook is hanging. This is that famous pattern. You cannot prevent b5. And whatever happens, once I play b5, if you take it, you have a weak structure. If I take, you have a weak structure. There's no way out. Knight bd7, b5, of course, e6, bc6, bc6, and now once again b4. It's just marching through the position. Rook b8 does not work, a6 once again does not work, I can take it. So my opponent played bishop e7, I went b5, and you should take now. If you don't take, if you play rook c8, I'll go rook a7. If you go knight b8, then I'll go b6. And actually win on the spot, so cb5. And now I had a pleasant choice, knight b5 or bishop b5. If knight b5, the idea was if castles, then rook h2, and rook a2, and I'm going to win the pawn. My rooks are working together, and they can be on the a file or on the h file. So this was one of the most uncommon patterns I had in my games in a long time. I can decide if my opponent castles kingside to go rook a2, rook h2, and if my opponent doesn't castle, I can go rook h2, rook a2, just winning the a pawn. But winning with the bishop, or sorry, winning the pawn back with the bishop, allows me to prevent castling because I have g5, and if I play bishop b5, which I ended up playing, then castles is impossible because I win the knight, and just go g5. Notice that my rook isn't hanging after castles. So I don't know what my opponent should do. I don't know, maybe, you know, a6. I don't know. The engine says, what's the best move? King d8, castles, or a6. Okay, so castles is the second best move, which he did, which loses a piece. It's the position is +3. It's just I have a passed pawn and I'm winning everything. So now I win the knight. g5, there's no way to save that knight. Takes. He played knight h7. The engine wants to take on c5, give up the knight that way, which makes sense. Knight h7, bishop d7, full piece. Knight takes g5. And now there was a very pleasant choice. Once again, bishop c6, which allows me to win the a7 pawn and push my pawn. So I didn't want to go c6 yet because of bishop b4, and that allows counterplay. I don't have to allow any counterplay, I'm just up a piece. So either bishop c6, rook c8, bishop b7, followed by rook a7 and, you know, c6, or what I did, which threatens mate in 2, rook a2. Now I want to go rook h2 and mate on h8. My goal was just to misplace my opponent's pieces. I wanted the knight to go back to h7. You cannot play bishop h7 because eventually I'm going to go g5 and win the bishop, sorry, f4 and win the bishop. My opponent played rook fd8, which does not prevent the mate threat, so rook h2. Now my opponent has to play knight h7. Once again, if bishop h7, then f4 simply wins, and if king f8, it's still mate. So knight h7. Now all of the pieces have been misplaced. Now once again, I could choose between c6 and bishop a4. Again, I didn't want to go c6 because that allows bishop b4. It's unnecessary complications. So bishop a4. And also, the upside of bishop a4 is that this pawn is never going anywhere. This is the only source of play my opponent has. And if this pawn cannot go past a5, then that's it. So my opponent played f6, creating a square for his king and for the knight perhaps, for the bishop perhaps. Knight g2, I'm just developing. The knight is coming to f4, knight f8. And now I played rook h8, check, king f7 and knight f4 because I'm basically in some positions threatening to take on f8 with the rook and take on g6 should the king move. And the bishop doesn't really have any squares. The knight on f4 is also covering d3, which is exactly what I wanted to do. Now the bishop is immobile completely. My opponent played a5, king e2. Okay, this is the final move I need to consolidate because now I can play bishop d2 and rook b1. I can play knight d3, I can play knight d1, f2, d3. It's just a safe move that connects that allows me to get my rooks to the queen side. Rook ac8. I didn't know what the move was about, so I just kept developing. I might play rook b1. And my opponent took on c5, which of course is not good. It's just a piece sacrifice, but it's very difficult to make a move for black. I mean, black should resign. It's about +5 at this point, and my plan is very, very simple. I'm just going to queen my c-pawn and win the a-pawn. After I play knight b5, the a-pawn is gone. Also, I can go rook g1 and threaten to win the bishop, and, you know, I have many plans. It's winning for many different reasons. So my opponent took on c5, dc5, rook c5, and now I just took on g6 because the knight cannot take, the rook on d8 is undefended, so knight g6. The king must take, and rook b1 with the idea of rook b7, which is unstoppable. Once again, the knight on f8 is pinned, and I just want to go rook b7, followed by perhaps bishop e8 should the rook move, or rook g8, and I just win material. Alternatively, I don't know, maybe I can even go knight b5 and just pick up the a-pawn, but there's no need for that. This just activates my rook. My opponent played rook c8, trying to win 2 pieces for a rook, but I played rook b7 because the knight on f8 is hanging, and he cannot take on c3. My opponent took anyway. Rook c3, bishop c3, rook c3, and after rook f8, my opponent resigned. Obviously, I'm up a rook and the bishop, so there is no hope left. So this wasn't a difficult game, and I actually didn't get tired at all, which is not a good feeling. That might sound strange, but when you're playing a chess game, there's that feeling of, oh, you know, you feel tired and you feel good for winning, but I'd won a piece so early on that I didn't feel like I'd played the game. It felt strange. But it was good to win a game after not playing for basically 6 months. So this was the first game I played in 2026. Tomorrow I'm going to show you my next league game, and the day after that I'm going to show you a game I played 2 days ago in the final part of the spring season of the Croatian League. So stay tuned for more chess, and after that we are continuing with the Sicilian series. Bye bye.